Hello YouTubers and Doctor Who fans, welcome to a very unexpected review of this absolute killer of a story known as Blood of the Daleks, the introduction to the 8th Doctor series audio adventures. This is replacing the Mythmakers review because that got corrupted, so I have to re-record that, which is a shame, but I didn't feel like doing it again today, so I'm just doing Blood of the Daleks just to do a little treat because I got a lot of things to say about this audio adventure. But firstly, we'll be starting with part 1 of Blood of the Daleks. So here we can have the front cover of Blood of the Daleks part 1. As we can see, that banner line that always happens on, always is on the new audio CDs adventures, starring Paul McGann and Sheridan Smith in Blood of the Daleks part 1 by Steve Lyons. Also another very good writer. I do find him. I do like his books as well. They are very well written. It's a very well good writer he is. This features Kenneth Granham, Anita Dobson, Hayley Atwell with Nicholas Briggs as the Daleks. Full cast audio drama. So there's the side, Blood of the Daleks by there, and this is the number 1 release, of course. And now we have the back, written by Steve Lyons and directed by Nicholas Briggs. Approximately 60 minutes of an hour long. People of Red Rocket Rising, my fellow citizens, our long night is over, and has been contacted by a benevolent people. They too have known great trials, but they have overcome them and made it their mission to help others to do the same. They were offered us refuge and passage to the nearest human worlds. They have the resources, the patience and the compassion to evacuate every one of us. My fellow citizens, my friends, rescue is at hands. So the cast is the Doctor, Lucy Miller, Elvin Clint, Asher Grooven, Tom Cartwell, Lowell, that's right. The Headhunter, which plays a very significant role throughout the 8th Doctor audio adventure, or this audio adventure series, and the Daleks, of course, played by Nicholas Briggs. Now we just have the opening, just with the normal disc like that, just the classic spiral from the 1970s, it looks like, and now we have the booklet. And what's so good, I thought, no, it doesn't matter, I'll get to that part in a minute. That's just the next episode, Blood of the Daleks 2, which I'll be showing as well. And yeah, this is what I meant. This can actually be made as a poster if you want to have it, but I personally like it just like a booklet. Now, to start my thoughts off with the Blood of the Daleks part 1, this is where the audio adventures, or the 8th Doctor audio adventures, starts to kick off its own series. And may I say, it is a fabulous introduction for part 1 so far, and I thought it was a very well written and very well acted audio from all the characters. They really did, like, they were all enjoying themselves, and as I listened to the special features of this, or the bonus interviews, they said like they really enjoyed this story, so all the actors had a really fun time with this audio adventure, and as well with all the other ones coming up. Now at the start of this, Paul McGann as the Doctor and Sheridan Smith, who plays Lucy Miller, don't have the greatest relationship in this story. They, bicker and moan each other like all the time, and the Doctor gets very impatient sometimes. I do think it's rather funny. Well, Lucy Miller's always having a strop all the time, and the Doctor just can't really take it anymore. And they do have a lot of a bicker through this story and part 2 as well. And I'm guessing that their relationship obviously builds up throughout the whole 8th Doctor era. Maybe in the middle they might start to have a good relationship towards the end as well. I bet that happened. It's just I haven't listened to any of the 8th Doctor audios. I've only got a couple from the 8th Doctor range, and I bet I'm going to start by here and then get them in order. So Horror of Grand Rock will be my next installment. As well with the Daleks as well, they are really sly in this story, very sly, a bit of Powder Dalek sly, but in a different sort of way. So what happened to Red Rocket Rising, the planet, is an asteroid crashes onto the planet, and basically the atmosphere of the planet is changing, it's getting, with acid rain, the planet is starting to crumble together and be destroyed, and all these people on there, and they get a distress call from the Daleks, they do, and that they're going to be their saviours, they're going to bring them to another human world, and everyone's cheering for the Daleks to return, and no, not return, but save them. And you can tell that the Daleks are acting very sly in this story, and they're very naughty in this story, they are. But as when they get onto the planet, they start pretending to cooperate, they do, as Daleks always do. Of course they're not going to be friendly to the humans, everyone's not going to know that. But as the Doctor's mentioned, it all basically turns a completely opposite direction. The Daleks start to go really menacing, they start to get very aggressive now, and they do not muck about when they hear the word Doctor. They start to get very menacing in the story, and they get on a bit of a rampage, they do, and an absolute fantastic cliffhanger happens as well, and it all starts to kick off, and it seems like part 2 is just going to be even better. And believe it, but part 2 is absolutely fantastic. So part 1, I would probably give this exactly 10 out of 10. I have nothing wrong with this story at all, and it kicks off lovely, it does, into the storyline. Very well builded this one is, and a fantastic introduction to the 8th Doctor series this one is. But let's move on to part 2 of Blood of the Daleks. So here we have part 2 of Blood of the Daleks, just with a green effect now. We can see the Dalek hiding behind the person who is known as Eileen Clint, who is, her real name is actually Anita Dobson. And she's also very good in the story as well. All the actors are really good. As well, all the same characters are in this storyline for the full cast audio drama. It's aside, of course, second release of the 8th Doctor audio adventures. Now at the back, now let's read the blurb, of course. The crashed ship, the one Tom Cardwell saw all these years ago. And you borrowed its technology, didn't you? Baby even found a Dalek or two in the wreckage. Dead, but intact. And you began to turn human beings into creatures like them. You did that. I'm right, aren't I? So characters completely the same. It's another 60-minute long to equal 120-minute, 2-hour audio. Now we have the ins again. Disc is just green now with that nice vortex effect. Now with this book, it actually shows the cast and characters which played in the story right by here. And this is what I really like. It actually has a picture of the Dalek spaceship as well, when the spaceship which lands on the planet, and pretend that they are rescuing the humans. And this is the next installment of, or the third release of the 8th Doctor series, Horror of Granrock, which I definitely will be getting because I want to get all these in order and get all of them, hopefully. Now, Blood of the Daleks Part 2. Now, is Part 1 better? Or does it go downhill? Or does it go uphill? It definitely goes uphill. This is where all the action happens. This is where it gets real, this does. And this part, out of all the audios I've heard so far, this has got to be my favourite audio so far. There's so much action going on, so much drama. It's just absolutely fantastic work here. Really well acted, and it's just really well done. I have seen it mimic other stories I have of this story, which really reminded me of Evil of the Daleks. And if you have listened to this story, then you know why it's called Blood of the Daleks, and then it sort of mimics into Evil of the Daleks. If you heard of Evil of the Daleks, then you definitely know what I'm talking about. But I can't spoil it because it is gonna sort of spoil the story. It is, so I can't really spoil what really happens to the Daleks or happens to the humans. That's basically for you to find out, because I do not like spoiling stories. Blood of the Daleks Part 2, as I said, this is where all the action happens and it gets absolutely fantastic. There's nothing wrong with it. I just can't think of anything wrong with it. Again, some people find Lucy Miller very annoying of a character. I don't mind her. Yeah, she's quite stroppy in this, but I think she will get better throughout the stories and have a very good relationship with the Doctor. But at some point, you know, it's like Donna didn't really have a very good relationship with the Doctor at the start. Reminds me a little bit of Donna, just a little bit, but just in a different sort of personality. So, Blood of the Daleks Part 2, another 10 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. This is probably my favourite audio I've listened to so far. So that was my audio review of this fantastic Blood of the Daleks. Definitely, out of all, it's 10 out of 10. By far, out of all the audios I've listened, as I said, probably my favourite audio so far. I'm excluding the Lost TV episodes. It's just the Big Finishes. This is probably my favourite Big Finish so far. Recommend it to anyone, and if you're getting into audios, you absolutely love this. Believe me, you would absolutely love this, because it's absolutely fantastic of a story, brilliant conclusion to the end, and it's going to be a fantastic storyline this is, because I've just started the introduction of the 8th Doctor series, and I'm probably going to listen to this all the way to the end of probably Dark Eyes, or to the death and then get Dark Eyes, but we'll just have to see what happens. So yeah, my next review is the Myth Makers. That will be coming up soon, and next 8th Doctor audio review I probably might be horror glam rock if I'm getting it. And stay tuned for it. There's going to be a very special video coming up of an unboxing of a certain something which I cannot give away, but you have to find out what I am unboxing. So stay tuned for that. I'm not telling you what it is. So thank you very much for watching this audio. This is TG Productions signing off.